Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and we're back once again in the Alps with what is undoubtedly an incredibly scenic view. The Alpine Express is currently rattling past and I have timed this in such a way so that its sister train should be coming back in the opposite direction. It's like clockwork. Well, we are in Switzerland, I suppose that's to be expected. Anyway, in the last two episodes we've been running with the no costs mod enabled. Which is low down, dirty stuff. But what it has enabled me to do is spend money that otherwise would be completely unrealistic in any length series in order to create what should be some very scenic routes when they're done. To be honest, the one we built last time around is already pretty flaming scenic, as you can see, Nick. Anyway, today is going to be the last in this micro series of where did the train go? The last in the series of no-costed expansion, and I'll give you a quick look through when I can tear myself away from watching the train as to what we're going for. I've torn myself away. Number one, here we go. Now, I was originally tempted to wait until I'd turned costs back on to do this, but if I did so, I wouldn't have the money ever, because the big old route we're running here is a big old cost center. It's not making me any money at all. Now, I pretty much believe that if I hook up to another town or two, that we can reverse that trend and it will actually start making some cash. It's had enough time to bed in, but bedding in, it ain't. Nobody wants to take Alpine Route 1, catchier title pending. So we're going to whiz down here, obviously probably a bit quicker than this, whizzing down here we go, and then hook up to a new station which will probably be on this side of town so that I can continue down into the valley itself, hitting up Coronico, eventually connecting with Biasca, which will make this a heck of a long route. Now, the other route that we haven't yet played with is operating out of Erolo here. And we haven't even set that one in motion yet because I need to do a little bit of reworking on it. This magnificent end swoop, which is a technical term, stop me if you need it explaining, is the only bit that I'm particularly happy with at the current time. After that, we do some action through the mountainside here before we go on this, what I think we can call tongue turn here. Tongue poking out of the mountain before coming back in again, and then turning into the bridge that caused so much disaster the first time we did it, heading out all the way to wherever it ends up, which is over here. So yeah, I like this section. This section's a lot of fun, cutting back on itself. I'd rather it didn't have this enormous bridge. It's too high. The length is fine. I'm comfortable with the length. It's just too high up. You know, and then we cut across here. It's really good stuff, this. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more scenic setup, but it works its way around there before finishing up down here. Now, this could pay off quite nicely. It is not going to be the fastest route ever, but my goodness me, is it ever scenic. So I need to do a little bit of redevelopment on that and then throw some trains down it in an expert fashion. So why don't you make yourself comfortable and we shall begin. Right then, so because I want the Alpine Route 1, I really do need a better title for it, because I want that to start earning before I turn costs back on. I'm going to develop this first, so it's got a little bit of time to bed in before we shock the bank manager back into life. So, as mentioned, I think this is the area of town that we wanted. What would be good here would be some kind of elevated station. Now, I'm fairly certain that I've got just about every station it's possible to have. As you can see, I've got a lot of them. I've got stations, I have no idea what they're supposed to do, but I've got them. Yeah, I own stations of all kinds. And this is part of the problem with delving into the workshop, is you'll frequently come away with a shopping trolley full of goodies, and you never actually properly look at them and go, what actually is this? I'm going to end up doing something traditional. 3-level underground passenger station. Now, it's tempting to use an underground station, but it's not interesting enough. I want to see all this stuff on the surface. Now, as highlighted before, this the town of Erolo, the town of Erolo, we've already got a station here, so I want to set up an additional local service between the two, probably. Or there are alternatives. There are alternatives. We could have the route actually go round and finish up in Erolo at the top end of town. And then, okay, I like it. Right, good. Leave that one with me. We'll come back to it. It's not for today, however. Right, we're just going to go for a regular through station. I want to make it a reasonable length. We're going to need to have quite a few tracks. Are we, though? We probably aren't going to need... We are probably not going to need 4. We'll go with 2. We'll high-speed it. We'll electrify it. We'll add a second street connection. And then we will find somewhere that the game deems suitable for us to place it. Yeah, well, all this works. I mean, you can have it wherever you like over here, which is unusual. Conventionally, we'd be mucking around right now, trying to persuade it to let me build. But clearly, it's in a good mood. I don't want to build close. I see. There we go. That's what we were waiting for. Unable to align terrain. Beautiful. The sky has not inverted. Everything is usual. Right, in which case we'll start out here and I'll try and do... and I'll gradually lose my tiny little mind in trying to connect that up to the rest of the road in town. Done. But, you know, this is the quick part of the show today. This is the bit that will be over and done with in mere moments. Lest I start bulldozing. Yeah, I'm not in the mood today, game. It's quite straightforward. You either comply first time, or you get bulldozed. I've got an unlimited bank account, and I want to turn a limited bank account back on again, and you will comply. You will respect my. Yes, I'm going to have to say it. You will respect my authority. There we go. Right, let's smooth that back out again afterwards. We don't want the ugly hillsides. We want the pretty hillsides. Now, what might be sensible here is if I hooked this up onto the local commuter grid. But I observed something interesting about said commuter grid. This is the Alpine Local Service. No, there you go. This is the Alpine Local Service, which is actually pretty popular. And if you look at it, it actually goes quite a long way. In fact, it goes a very long way. It goes all the way from Biasca, up and around through Erolo, having come through Chironico, up to Alp di Cereccia, which are the notable stations that we are now connecting up by train. So part of me wonders whether the existence of this particular route is actually causing my train service to suffer at present. So let's just collectively keep that in mind, shall we? Because if that's the case, I'm going to need to make some changes. So, you know, I invite you to pontificate as to whether that is the case or not in the comments. Don't do it now. I haven't finished the video yet. Wait until I've finished and then pontificate away. Right, as before, I shall expand out of here early. We're going to be going down the mountain. But we're also going to be not going down the mountain in the opposite direction. That's going to be a little more challenging, I think. But let's see if it's possible. Let's nuke that for the moment. I'm sure the townsfolk won't mind too much. But I can't get home, Marjorie. Well, you're just gonna have to deal. Right, there we go. There's a tunnel. Hold on. You're pulling what we in the trade call a likely to crash the game maneuver. Although that's quite good fun. So we could come in here and then do some kind of spiraling up maneuver. You get careful. Look, just accept that and then work on the next bit. All right, keep going up. No, 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 no. You're going to have to pull the circle round. Now, we've got plenty of underground to play with, so I don't necessarily need to bleed off all the speed in the world in order to get this to operate. Steady. Let's try and not bulldoze all the nice people's houses. Just bulldoze some of them. There you are. And then, can we get round onto there? Nope, we've gone back underground again, despite the fact we're still going up. Oh, this is a most mysterious route. Don't panic, right? I have not suddenly developed a taste for completely wacky railroads. I'm just having a look to see if this is in any way possible. And we're once again pulling a maneuver that is well known for its likelihood of making the game just kind of go, no. Alright, how far away is the surface? It's 1,000 miles away. Flipping it. If I turn the contours on here, we'll probably see how much of a fool's errand this actually is. Because this is a very long way to go for what is supposed to be a local route. So I think we're going to abandon ship on that. Alright, it was a... Oops, daisy. It was a noble dream. One filled with beauty and optimism, but when it comes down to it, it's not going to work. So we'll get shot. No, I don't want to bulldoze the road. There we go. Bulldoze this mole thing that we've got happening here. For those of you who are fans of spiral-based railroads, you're not going to want to go away because we're going to use one of those to avoid the whacking great bridge we've got on the line here. But we'll get to that in a minute after I've finished. Remember, this is the quick section. Yeah, after I finish the quick section, we'll get on with that. And voila. Right, magic. Okay, right. So when it comes down to it, this route here, not workable. Is workable, but it's impractical. It goes too far away. It's going to take us too long to get up the hill there. And then if you look at it from this direction, that kind of makes sense. Okay, good. Let's plumb in the bit of road again so that people can get to where they wish to go. And normality has resumed. So this is where we're going to end up heading with this particular track as it goes towards the civilization we have built up elsewhere. And frankly, once we hook that in together, there is a very real chance that this line will pay off without me having to do any jiggery-pokery in the process. But initially, there may be some jiggery-pokery required. So next task is let's just try this in one go, shall we? Like that, in that way that it works immediately. Now we've got a tunnel in here. Do we feel like tunneling? I think we do. I think let's keep this simple. Let's employ a tunnel if a tunnel is what's suggested. Turn the contours off. They're getting in the way. Well, I don't mean they're getting in the way. They're just, unappealing. You're not going to make any friends with those kinds of contours. All right, good stuff. Actually, that's really quite a long tunnel. But the end result is the end result, so that's all good. Right, fire that down there. Now, I'll probably need another train on here in order to keep the journey times down. A couple of people have said, oh, you want to make sure you keep those journey times below 3 minutes or it won't pay off. It's not so. 3 minutes may be optimal, but you can certainly make cash from a long old route. So I'm not too bothered about longer or excessive seeming routes as long as they pay off eventually. And it all comes down to what the level of passenger demand is. And hopefully, with the addition of this town as well, or this extension to the route, that we should be able to have sufficient demand for this to make sense. Right, I'm gonna pull my standard manoeuvre here. We're gonna do a bit of that, and then we will attempt the double bridge, like that. It would be brilliant, but it's not. One more. You can build a really high one. I don't want a really high one. There you go. That's less high, which is acceptable. What should we make this one out of? That's too modern. Up here in the Alps, I quite like this wooden thing, to be honest, but I think we'll go with stone because you know, it's just nicer like that. Right, good. Okay, so we can now hook this back up onto the roof that it was on, which actually I don't even need hooking up with. I mean, this is an iron ore facility that we're not currently making use of. Doesn't mean I won't in the future, but right now it's unused. I think it's pretty unlikely that I do it in the future, but you know, never rule it out until you've ruled it out properly. Too much slope? Yeah, you don't say. Where's this? This looks like it might not have too much slope, though. It doesn't, but the construction is not possible. Oh, now that's one of the least attractive things I've seen in a long time. Let's not do that either. How do you feel about going this way? You don't feel anything about it. This is the quick bit, remember? This is the, you know, we'll have this bit done quite quickly. There we go, that's better. Right, do you feel like connecting up to the rest of the road here? Yes, you do. Wonders will never cease. All right, splendid. Now, I need a similar connection at the other end. If we drag that back again, and then I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. If we go like thus, and then try and get some kind of a tunnel out of this bit. Now, the difficulty we're going to have there is it's going straight downhill. So actually being able to tunnel there is going to prove to be a bit of a challenge. However, doing something like this and turning it into a bridge... Go on, you'll do it. Just, you know, twizzle your pillars round a little bit and everything will be grand. Do you want a little bit more, maybe? How much do you require in order to be happy? You require quite a lot. What do we feel about that stylistically? Let's use this this nice steel stuff because it looks good. Actually, I can get behind that. It is quite tall, but due to the incline that it's running down, you know, this is another bit of road that people are going to come from miles around in order to drive. They're going to go like, you've got to drive it. It's insane. I don't know what they were thinking when they made it. Now then, can I get a... Yes, I can. So much the better. Come on. I don't... I'm not thrilled about that. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Especially if the AI can be persuaded to build on here. Although, it strikes me that actually if I got rid of these two bits... And then, brace yourselves, this is going to be quite ugly. Right, and then something using... Well, actually, if we don't bother with that and we just go straight for road, we might be able to keep this a little more orderly. No, you've done just as big a dip as you did last time. Look, I've done you a solid here. I've made it so that... so that such aggressive dippery is not required. That might work because the aggressive groundworks, such as they are, should become insignificant if the AI decides to bulk up the sides of the embankment here. Oh, hello, what have we got? Apart from a bit of autosave, which is always welcome. Love me a bit of autosave. It's a Sora Tusha. Or Saura. Take your pick. Right, good. Anyway, that's that connected. And this is... come on, we're on the quick bit. Just stop mucking about and get it running. And then we'll stick a quick junction diamond over here. And we'll be good to press on to our next adventure. Splendid. Right, okay, so Alpine Route 1 is there. We go from Aquarossa to Alp de Sorecchia. Aquarossa is there, so from there we go to here, then we come back again, and then you head to out to Serechia. Right, okay, smashing. Let's have a look and see what the game thinks that is in length. 6 minutes. That's not so bad. We might have to wait till the end of the month to find out if that's a reading on the new track distance or the old. As you can see, it's made 500,000 in ticket revenue, but that is not even close to paying for those the locos, the trains that we've got on there. So I am going to need to make a bit more cash out of that. We will review it in the fullness of time. Right, let's get on to the second track now. So coming out of Erolo, going in the opposite direction, we go up, round, through the mountain. There we go. If we turn the track tool on, you can see exactly where it goes. And then we come out at this bridge. This is the bit we don't like. Okay, right. So let's start out by potentially leading ourselves down a path of total madness and get rid of this. I mean, the good news is that that doesn't look like it's going to be a massive challenge to put back in. But we do have a fairly significant incline ahead of us, and this is where we're going to place some kind of spiral incline between the tunnel, which, remember, was difficult to place, and it did cause the game to crash at least once, and the lower section. I'm thrilled to be a part of such a madcap scheme. So there we go. There are the two sections of track that we are aiming to hook to one another. Oh, for pity's sake. All right. Okay, I'm clearly delusional. There is no way I'm going to make this work. Right, okay, I think if we go round in a spiral like this, we might get round in 2 revolutions and end up coming out over there. Right? Does that feel plausible? I don't know. Feels like it might be, but we'll muddle through and find out, I imagine. Right, come on, get rid of all this. Get rid of all this lot right here. Okie doke. Right, let's smooth this out. No, that's not the smoothing button. That's the make it ugly button. Let's not do that. Just, you know, even it up. Heal those scars. Heal the world. Right, so we've come out over here. Maybe if I delete this back, it gives us a little bit more room to play with. Now, we did test in the last episode. If you weren't here for the last episode, well, you know, I mean, you could go back and watch it now, but, you know, you've already missed all the good stuff. But we experimented with the concept of a spiral to get through severe elevation. The question is, where am I going to do it? Let's go to there, and then... Right, let's pull it around. Yes, that's the sound of a Dakota you've got going on there. No, whatever you're trying to connect to, stop it. Do not try to connect to anything. I want you completely. Hold on. Why are you fighting me here, game? I don't want you fighting me. You should be going downhill as much as you can possibly go downhill. 50 is way slower than I want. What's that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What have you just deleted? Oh, flipping heck, it's over there. Ah. Right, okay. Let's put that back in before anybody notices. Right, good. What we need here is to be facing in a direction where there is no track for it to attempt to connect to. I'm not entirely sure that such a thing exists. And then, let us not forget that we do have to double track it as well. Right, can you stop trying to connect to things? All right, let's just look straight down. That is by far and away... Oh, that's almost too tempting to emerge over the side here. and then potentially have a route that goes both under and over the planes as they come. Oh, we're here at the right time, look. We've also appeared at the time in order to be able to spot that I've also bulldozed a bit of the line. Right, we're definitely going for looking straight down. I'm not even sure what that bit is, or that bit. It's just, it's doing its best to just show me as many different underground bits of track as possible. This is going to test my patience. And I suspect yours. Good luck to us all. Right. Give me something a little bit better than 50 kilometers an hour. This is kilometers, remember? So it's dropping to properly slow, which coming uphill isn't such a big deal. I'm even holding down shift, which is what usually stops things from attempting to snap to one another, and it's not even helping on that front. Do we get any indication of the altitude here? Doesn't look like it's trying to go. Oh, whoa, what are you doing? Down. Accursed thing. It looks like you're on the flat. Doesn't look like you're going down at all. Well, I mean, I'll take it. After all, I've got a bulldozer and I know how to use it. Whoa, steady on. What is this? You've got a temperamental bit of track. All right. What do you think? Too much slope. All right, let's do another lap. What about if we come down over here so we can actually maintain a little bit of speed? Now, I saw it too, don't worry. I saw it break the surface there, and it would be quite nice to break the surface. But in this particular case, I am far more interested in it just completing my track. Do not crash. For it is easy to take offense when I throw you out the window. Where are we? Here we go. Come on, get round. Get round. If I can get 60 out of this, that'd be terrific. It would be nice to get more than 60. I might take 57. Okay, all right, I'll take it. Let's have a look. There we go. That's a definite spiral occurring there. Excellent. All right, and now from here, if we smash through that quickly, it won't try and connect. Too much slope still. Well, I don't know what else I can do. I mean, we're going down. Do you want me to go again? Well, actually, if I went again, we could avoid the high bridge here as well. So, yeah, let's do it. I mean, if we're going to have a section of this line where we do lose a significant amount of speed, then doing it all at once so that we can have nice, clean progress on both sides is probably the way to go. Let's go as far as there. My goodness me. Now, at the end of the day, this is actually not going to be, well, it's definitely going to be slower than the approach we had before. But also, it's not going to be any shorter than the approach we had before. Right, there we go. How's that look? Too much slope. Hogwash. I don't believe you. Where are you trying to get to there? Yeah, you see this bit that I was talking about? Oh, we could eliminate that. Yeah, that's the other line. Right, what's the difference in height here? We are still a way to go, which I find hard to believe. Why are we still a way to go? Did that last loop not really? No, it definitely lost more altitude. Can you not go down any more than that? Okay, well, it's... what's the alternative then? The alternative is a bigger turnaround here to break off the last of the height that we need to do. I'm going to try it and see how bad it is. If we get rid of this tunnel. Are you gone? You are gone. Vanish. Like it never happened. Right. And... okay, right, so the mission, get round and down. And Too much slope. All right. Well, you're still going down at an aggressive angle there. Or, well, you say aggressive. At the most appropriate angle we can get. It's going to be ugly red, isn't it? Although, frankly, the likelihood we're hitting 120 at this point. Oh no, actually, later engines might succeed with that. Unable to align terrain anyway. Well, ain't that just groovy? Well, that doesn't seem to matter how I come out of that tunnel. It doesn't want to align the terrain. We're going to have to do another lap there, fellas. Get your bulldozers back out. We're going again. I've got a bad feeling about this. Anyway, here we go. Deleted a perfectly nice bit of tunnel there. The more of these I do, the less likely it is that it's going to make me happy. All right, here we go. Round we go again. Down. Down is the important bit. Right, good. Yes, good. Right. Onwards and once more onto the circle, dear friends. No, 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 no. Keep control over everything. Otherwise it will all go very badly wrong very quickly. Down, right? That's what I need you to do. And given that this is all going to be hidden underneath a mountain, I'm not even bothered if the circles are even. But I suspect the viewers may have spotted that already. There we are, let's go as far as that. Right, and then we'll come down here. That has got to be on the right level by now. Hey, I'll tell you something, spiral advocates. Never again. We'll get this one done, but that's it. After that, I'm through with spirals. Spirals are rubbish. Big bridges. They're sexy. They're the future. Right, get round. Oh, you are absolutely joking. I mean, we are going down at every level here, right? Yeah. So see, look, each one is higher than the previous. You know, I couldn't rule out that, you know, maybe I'd goofed somewhere. In fact, this last bit looks like I'm crossing over the same bit of track. All right, this might be one of those moments where we try and rule out whether I've goofed somewhere. I'm at a loss. That's it. You know, my brain's checking out here rapidly, just going like, whatever are you doing? You had something that was perfectly lovely, and now it's all weird. Right. Let's go around the corner. Right, and then I'm just going to see if we can make this without too much slope. What do you know? There isn't too much slope. Well, that's a miracle. Hallelujah. All right, okay, what's going on here then? Because it seems to be, there seems to be an incline there as well. Speak to me, contours tool. There is. We actually get higher up there, but that, I believe, is to cross over the bit of the town that we decided we want to cross over. So we end up with a slight swerve of a curve at the very end of this mammoth decline. Now, the good thing... okay, look, I'm going to try and paint a positive picture here for a moment. The good thing to come out of this, other than the fact that I've now got to double track it... Oh, dear me. Go on, that's it. Get as far as there. Right, next step. Wish me luck, friends. I'm going in. I don't know which one of these it's supposed to be going double tracking, but I'm just hoping it snaps enough to do it. That looked promising. Let's take it. No idea. Could be going anywhere at this point. Oh no, where's the... it's there. I mean, you need some serious clairvoyance to be able to do this. You can say you were there. You can say you saw it happening, on video, where somehow we managed to double track. I'm not entirely sure I haven't triple tracked that. It won't let me get any closer. No, there's definitely only 2 tracks. This is like that scene in Contact where the deaf guy is listening to Jodie Foster while she's in the pod waiting to drop, and he's the only one who can hear her say, "No, she's still good to go." I'm sure you know what I'm driving at. Feels like that level of intensity that we've got going on. This is the most exciting thing that's happened to me all week. Are we going to make it round? Blimey, I'm going to need to sit down after this, because we are right on the edge of crashing this game. Where are you? Come on. That looked like it connected. Did it connect? Probably. Close enough. About there. Now I see where this will get properly entertaining is if I've missed a bit. Because if I've missed a bit, it will not do the route correctly when we set the route up, and then we shall have to go hunting for which bit is not connected. I think you can picture right now how that's going to go. Right, okay. Anyway, we're going to assume that worked. Hey, pulse racing, palpitations. It's all because it was so terribly exciting. Right, now let's stick a bit of a straight bit here. I imagine the drivers' union will be queuing up to be driving this one. You want me to drive that ridiculous spiral line? Yes, I do. I want danger money. If we get trapped in there, there's no way that anybody will ever find us. Right, let's try and get 60 out of this curve. It's going to mean a bit of a swan neck to get back online. Ooh, that's ugly. All right, we're not going to get 60 out of that curve. 49 feels horrible. 52. I can accept 52. How do you feel about it? All right, that's acceptable. And actually, since the speed limit there is low, magic wand, yes. This track, how do you change the bridge then? Yeah, you see, I'm sure that there's no. Well, what about it? No, that's not it. That's lights. Magic wand. Press shift to update segment wise. There's nothing to upgrade. Sorry, for those of you not who don't get stuck into the comments. Last time around, it was postulated that I could change the type of bridge that I was using after having placed it. Hold on, which side of the track are we actually doing here? Inside. Too much curvature. Well, you were happy enough with it a minute ago. Right, now, given that our speed limit here is 50 odd, let's go with something that looks nice. Stone bridge. There you go. All right, how's that? That's rubbish. Okay. Well, thanks. But if I delete some of this stuff here, we can maybe even that curve out so it's less rubbish. Less rubbish. All right, there it is. Okay, well, that's an improvement on what we had before if you didn't like a really, really big implausible bridge. Instead, now you've got a really, really big, super implausible tunnel, which, in a matter of moments, we, together, will ride on a train through. I'm not going to keep you waiting. I can almost sense you going, oh, he's going to wait until the next episode and do it in that one. No, I'm not. We're going to do it in a minute. Hold on. Hold everything. Right, we've got a junction on there. That's good. Let's do this. Right, I need... Oh, this? Yes, okay. Arolo. Give me a colour I can make out, will you? Pink feels promising. So we're going to go from Irolo round here. Everything happens, and then we come out and over the bridge. I did talk about perhaps adjusting this bridge as well, didn't I? All right, give me a minute. And then we come round and we go round again, and then we go round here, and then we go round some more, and then there's a bit more going round required. My goodness me. Well, there we go. That's that. Now then, it's not currently switching tracks on the way back out, and that's not a good sign. Everybody cross your fingers. I don't care whether you believe in luck or not, we're going to need some. Right, everything likes driving on this side of the track. Let's just put some signals right here. Okay, that one worked. That worked, and if that worked, it will work everywhere. Alright. Now, this is going to take quite some time for a train to traverse. Not least of all, the loopy section. Although, I mean, the views from this are going to be brilliant. Alright, the bits that aren't totally bananas are going to be absolutely stunning. It's almost worth trying to get an air route along here somewhere. I know, don't start sighing just yet, I haven't finished. Just so that we can have planes flying over the top of yet more transit lunacy. A big long chunk of underground. In fact, I don't want to spoil the view there, so no, hold on. Is that the bit I don't want to spoil the view? Once again, being able to see underground's not really helping us out there. Would be nice to be able to toggle that off if anyone's paying attention who can make that happen. Yes. Right, okay, so here we go into the loopiness. Put one there, and then why won't you put on the other side? Oh, he's trying to put it on the track below. Oh, hell's bells. Right, okay, that all looks promising. And then we'll stick some more here. Because at some point, almost certain... Where's it gone? Any ideas? Anyone? It's there, look. Don't take your eyes off it. No, I need you on the other side of the track. Assuming I'm looking at it correctly. There. That'll do. Let's just hope that was good. And then we'll stick another one on the entrance here. There we go. Right, because when I get this running up to capacity, I'm going to run a lot of metal down here. Yeah, there is going to be a serious amount of iron work heading up and down this line. For now, however, I will be satisfied with running anything up and down this line. I'm just going to call this Looper for the moment. It needs a better title. As much as this is an entirely fictional piece of railroad setup, I do sometimes try and make a nod towards some kind of reality. Right, here we go. Let's just stick any old depot on here. Right then, what do we fancy? It's train time. I haven't thought about this at all. I've got no idea what sort of train to put on here. Buy trains. Oh, it's thinking about it. Right, okay, locomotives. Well, we've got electrification. We're going to need an awful lot of power and an awful lot of traction in order to make this work. What do we got? All right, I am now auditioning for the service that will run on here. Let's start with what's brand new. Hold on, no, let's start with the GG1, which is 3.4 and 291. Any advance? 330 and 2000. Pretty slow. That's a goods train. It's a Russian goods train by the looks of it. What about you? 3,363. Okay. All right. The E94 is waving its hand there, going, "I got this for you, Governor." Meanwhile, 684. It's not going to do it. Sorry. This Great Western is not in the running. 19, 150, no, the A4 is no good. 29, 136, the Hiawatha's no good, and I'm not using it anyway. 11, 180, nope. E44. No. I don't want to use the GG1 again. As much as I like it, now that I've got it in service, I'd quite like... I mean, I'd love to find a bit of steam that would do the job. You know, maybe even stick 2 of them together. And even just saying that out loud has got people all of a flutter, going, oh, yeah, stick 2 of them together. Oh, go on, do that. 3.5 and 4.30. Ha. It's very slow. But that'd do the job. Or Pacific. Nice and quick. Actually, the Pacific's not a bad call. How does it compare to the Mikado? No, we're going to go with the Pacific. All right, this whole section has become American. Do you fancy it? What about the Milwaukee? Ooh, the Milwaukee's a great selection, but I'm already running that on the coal line. We're going to go with the Pacific, and I'm going to run a few of them, but keep them shortish in order to make this work. This might look odd, but we'll see. Right, top speed 145. Let's have a look at what we've got passenger-wise. I can't run the heavyweight on this, because the train's not quite up to it. 145. Okay, 6. That's not good. That's not the one. That's Austrian. There will be an uproar in the comments if you put that on there, but not as much as if you put this Russian one on there. So the heavyweight, no good, that is. Heavyweight Parlor, also no good. Donnerbusch, too slow. That's Russian. That's British. That's German. It's going to be a New Mexico, isn't it? Now, it's got aluminium, although given it's American, it's got aluminum walls, this one. I can see that not really matching up with the Pacific's design aesthetic. You're going to make me go with the heavyweight, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll run the heavyweight with the in the New York Pullman livery, and we'll see how we get on. I'm going to regret this. That's 76. That's 95. 95 feels like a good number. Right, let's clone this. 3 of them? 4 of them. Make it happen. Yeah, I know, you're all going, well, you're not paying for it. Yes, but I will be. That's the thing, is that when we switch costs back on, I'm going to be paying for this. However, I've had the Pacific sat in my collection for a little while, and I've not used it. And despite the fact that this track is electrified, and someone suggested that there was an alternate electrification that I could apply via a mod that might not be quite as in your face. And someone's painted this with Go Faster matte paint. Oh yeah, I know matte paint. Nice bloke. Always gets his beers in. There we go. There's a Pacific running through the snow. We'll follow this along. But when we get to the bridge, we'll ride on board so that we can enjoy the loop together. But I'll follow this along to do the mandatory smoothing that will finish this bit off. There we go. Because that's half the mission. Right, it's not going to pick anything up for ages until I do something to generate some passengers at that end. So just because it's badly configured right now doesn't mean it's going to remain that way. I possibly ought to keep the train window open as well so that we can see what sort of speed we're getting. That's a good call. Because as much as there is a very slow section in here, I want it to at least have a stab at getting up to a reasonable speed. 50 whole kilometers per hour, friends. It looks great though. I'm going to kill stuff off so we can see it properly. There we go. There you go. Yeah. This is all good. Every second of this is great screenshot material. 60 kilometers an hour. I'm currently wondering if I have selected the right locomotive for this particular job. Oh, 75. Okay, right, okay. Well, maybe it has got a little more to give. There we go. Right, we're heading into the looping section. Let's put that away. I think we shall go for some loop-based music. Okay, now's the point that we hope for a plane coming as we go over the top here. No, not over the top here, over the top of the next bit. Or over the top of the bit we just came through. I have no idea where we are. Oh, that's exciting. I suspect it's after this next bit of time. But, you know, all being well, there'll be a plane that will make this all worthwhile. The only downside, of course, is that we won't see it if we're in first person. And if I leave first person, we won't see it because it will zip the camera back to wherever I entered first person, which will be a bit disappointing. So we're just going to have to see if we can hear the train that we're... the plane that we're hoping for when we finally emerge from the other end of this tunnel. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. That looping section, actually, we managed to hold on to the speed better than I thought imaginable. I mean, I imagined it pretty well, but even so, it held the speed up reasonably well, which certainly means at the end the loco's got enough power to get the job done, but it just doesn't get the opportunity to. No, I really don't know where we are. Okay, we could be anywhere about now. I mean, as you look out over the left-hand side there, all you can see is big bits of bridge that presumably a train's going to use at some point. Unless we've already done it. Maybe it's that first bit of that little tiny bit of bridge that we went over. I bet it was. I bet it was that bit. I bet we've missed it. I bet I've just been waffling for nothing here. because we're now on final approach to the station. Well, you say final approach, we've got quite a long way to go. But yes, I've definitely missed it. But this is all jolly good. And actually, it doesn't require an awful lot of smoothing. We're clearly, yeah, I mean, as you can see, we're going downhill again now because we're starting to burn off speed with another flipping corner. Hope you like corners. Hope you like heights. Holy mackerel, that is quite tall. Now, this next banner bridge is also higher than I would usually find desirable, but actually the length of it means that it kind of makes sense. The only thing that I don't like about it is that the pillars that are used to support the bridge, they don't feel like they're substantial enough. What would be better would be some kind of suspension bridge, because that typically would be how you would get over a longer high up expanse. But I'm not complaining too much. I'm just complaining constantly. But here we go. I think we've got one more half loop to go in order to hit ground level. So there's the town. In fact, can we see the station from here, or is it the next one up? It's the next one up, I think. Having not ridden this route before, I'm not entirely sure. Can't be much further. It really can't. And if it is, I might need to buy a few more trains, because otherwise my journey frequency is going to be terrible. But if I can fill one of these trains, the payoff once we get to the other end of the line, even though this is not the fastest possible locomotive in the world, the payoff at the other end of the line should be enormous. And of course, because this isn't the fastest locomotive currently available, it's also going to be fairly cheap to operate. There we go, we're at 145, which is the top speed of the Pacific. The large train that could. Coming round again. No, we're still quite high up, so we've got some more loop action to come. Talk about taking an indirect route. I mean, maybe the most practical way to do this would be to have a better spiral than the one I created, but a longer spiral at both ends with effectively a flat bit of track in between the two. Alternatively, just don't build a train line in this area anyway, because to do so is madness. Oh, we're here. I hadn't expected to be here. We were up there a minute ago. That's quite promising. We got a passenger. Have we got two passengers? Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, there you go. That will wrap it up for this time. I've been Colonel Failure, and that is going to be the end of the road for the no costs section of this series. I've managed to save, if we pull away here. Oh, I'm not that bothered about replacing trains. We managed to get 125 million in the bank, and we are going to need it if we're going to make a go of the services we've got going on. Right, there's the existing station. What can I do with that? I can bulldoze a bunch of stuff. I might be able to get it into there, you know. That could be interesting, because we could connect up to there. Ooh, okay, interesting. I'm going to have to consider that in the future. It's not going to be cheap, but then nothing involved in building routes in the mountains is in any way cheap. Right, we're going to go back to the gully, the Gulf, Failure's Gorge, I believe someone has referred to it as, which is jolly nice of you. There we are. What we're waiting for here is an end of episode screenshot involving a plane and a train at the same time. If it happens, then, you know, collectively we shall high-five one another. If it doesn't happen, I want it for the screenshot for this episode anyway, and you'll know that I faked it. And I shall fake it by pausing a train halfway across the bridge, and then I shall figure out how to turn all of this UI stuff off, and it will be great. Anyway, I've talked to you enough for one day. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Colonel Failure. Throw a like at this one if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the whole series, be sure to tell your friends. Maybe they'll like it as well. Give it an old share in some fashion. Or at the very least, you know, say I saw a really good video about about trains today, and they'll go, "Did you?" And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "You really like your trains, don't you?" And you'll go, "Yeah, and so trains are cool. What's your problem?" Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you very soon. It's not going to happen, is it? Cheerio. Okay, all right. Well, it turns out that actually I am going to fake it, but look, it's really close. This is, an added extra there. Almost made it. Almost got the shot. Right, let's turn this gubbins off. Kill all of this. There we are. See, that's all we need. Just need that. There obviously isn't another train coming for ages and ages, so it's not going to work perfectly, but it was so close. Can I get an angle? Look, I'm moving the mouse wheel by the smallest possible amount. This is what I go through to get you a kick-ass flipping title card thumbnail for each of these videos. Except usually I'll grab one from while the... See, that's close, but no one's going to pick out that level of detail. Right, we'll pause the train. Pause the train. Right there. Let's hope it stops in time. Right, now we get the camera angle as close as possible. I think we have to follow the plane, right? See? Look, you'd be none the wiser. I could do that and you'd kind of go, wow, it's really all come together, hasn't it? In fact, that looks brilliant. Let's get a bit closer. Right, and then we make this look as amazing as possible. And everybody's going to go, wow, that Colonel Failure, he does some stuff, doesn't he? Oh, he really does do some stuff. That's a fact. There we go. I've got a choice of angles there. Anyway, there you go. That's a bit of an exclusive bonus extra moment for you. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to use. Probably that. Well, I see we get the failure dozer in shot, although that's the old failure dozer. I ought to update that at some point. Anyway, that'll do. Catch you next time. Cheerio.